Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
Welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. I'm your host, Ace. We got Levon and Ant today.
What's up?
What's going on?
So, Levon.
I got free like Jimmy Butler. Finally got free.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Jimmy. I mean, the Lakers, you could say they got better, especially when they got that center.
Do you think Luka coming back will get them into the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, they were going to make the playoffs.
They were the 5 seed.
Yeah.
But do you think it actually gives them a chance to go on a championship run this season?
Nope.
No, I think
Okay. Did any team make a move that moved the needle that much?
Dallas and Cleveland.
What did Cleveland do?
Cleveland traded for DeAndre Hunter, picked him up from the Hawks.
Oh, so you think that gives them an edge over the Knicks, the Bucks, and the Celtics in the East?
I think that gives them a good 3-and-D wing that could help them when it comes to guarding guys like Brown, Tatum, Bridges, Anunoby. He's averaging 19 points off the bench for the Hawks this year. And he's having the best year of his career.
The Hawks stink.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the Hawks. We're talking about the Cavs who, have 41 wins, and they just got somebody that made them better. And all they did was give up 2 players that were coming off the bench for them. So
are they kind of the obvious choice to win the championship then?
Yeah, there's no obvious choice unless you want to pick Boston. And they just got blown out tonight. So
I was going to say the Cavs, but hey, who knows?
No, I'm saying the Cavs can't be obvious because they got 41 dubs. There's no obvious choice when the season starts. I mean, before the season, you say
we're at the halfway point now. We're coming up on All-Star Weekend in a week.
Yeah, there's no obvious choice. Boston just got beat by 20, and they still probably, in anybody's minds, would be the most believable team to push through the playoffs and win because they're the last team we saw do it.
All right.
But yeah, Dallas got better. I mean,
you think AD gives them a chance to win now?
Yeah, I do.
Like right now.
I
agree with you.
I think it does.
Ant, I'm coming to you on San Antonio real quick. Because I know that's the only basketball team you get to follow living in Texas.
I wasn't following no basketball. I'm sorry, man. So you following the wrong person. I was.
So you don't know who got traded to their team?
Nope. I was in suspension like Jimmy Butler, so I didn't know.
De'Aaron Fox is now a San Antonio Spur. And his first game there was tremendous, and they blew out the other team. And Chris Paul came off the bench and gave him another 15 points. So now they got 2 point guards that can lead them the entire time.
Oh, I guess we're gonna win. I guess the Spurs gonna be winning the championship this year. Let's go.
It's like BET.
Spurs versus Knicks in the finals.
Honestly, it'll legitimately give them a shot. The Knicks needed to make a move, but I think they traded away Sims to get under the apron, so that's good.
The Knicks didn't need to make a move. They made tons of moves.
They made a move to get under the apron, so now they can sign players. They get cut from other teams to get bought out, so that's kind of what you want to do.
They only saved like $5,000 with this deal.
No, it was more like $1.8 million.
No, it was like 5. I mean, I just heard.
Who did they take in?
I just heard the report. They didn't take in anybody, but I mean, as far as money to buy to sign a player, all they did was like $5,000 added to whatever cap space they got.
Okay, so they got further under the cap.
They did take in DeLon. What's this guy's name? DeLon something.
DeLon, right?
Yeah. So taking him in, they only saved like $5,000.
They may end up they may end up cutting him, or if he has non-guaranteed money on his contract, that may help him. Because that's what most of these roster moves was outside of Jimmy Butler, Luka and AD, and De'Aaron Fox, which kind of surprised me that deal got done so quickly.
I like it for San Antonio. It's not going to help them much this year, but I like it for them going forward.
I think it helps San Antonio finish strong. I think they finished with 45 wins.
Are you serious?
I think they win 20 of the next 30 games, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be betting them heavy the rest of the year.
You think they're going to win? They barely beat the Hawks yesterday.
But they beat them on the road. Normally, they would have lost that game.
I don't know.
The Hawks actually played well.
You think they're gonna run like Cleveland did and win 20 games?
I think they're gonna 20 of the next 30 games. Yes.
And who are they playing? I mean, you say that without. Did you look at the schedule?
It doesn't matter. It's the fact that they have De'Aaron Fox. They have a young star to go along with the other young star.
De'Aaron Fox is good, but I mean, think about that team as a whole.
Yeah.
And the West is still a West. I mean, the top teams are still a top team. So you like
the West
San
isn't that
Antonio.
good. The West isn't that
The
good.
West isn't that good?
It's really not. The best teams by record are in the East.
No, the West have
the best teams by record are in the East.
I just looked at the standards.
Does any team in the West have 40 wins?
Yeah. OKC. They have 40 wins.
You know who has 41 wins?
Yeah, Cleveland.
So the best record in the NBA is owned by who?
And there's two other teams in the West with 30 wins. That's Houston and Memphis, followed by 28 wins Denver.
Houston has less wins than the Knicks, and Denver has less wins, and Memphis has less wins than Boston.
Yeah, but then after that, it's a severe drop off. That's what I was talking about. You talk about the Bucks.
You said the top. You said the top teams.
I'm thinking about the teams the top 6 teams before the play-in. That's what I'm talking about. You talking about the top 3? You're just talking about the top 3.
The Lakers are 29-19. The Clippers are 28-22, and they just got rocked by the Lakers.
But you see what I'm getting at, though. Yeah. Those teams, and then the next teams after the Knicks are like the Pacers.
And Golden State made a move, and they're 500.
Like 27 wins, and then the Bucks.
Yeah.
You know, those teams are in the mid-20s. And then you got the other teams out west, and they're kind of like in the high 20s. So the West has a stronger, pool of teams still, even though the top of the East is probably more talented than the top of the West, if that's what you meant.
That's exactly what I meant, yes.
No, I agree with you on that. I do.
And I don't think it's going to take them a while to adjust, but we'll see.
I just think San Antonio trying to fight through that will be tough.
Did you have your mock draft ready?
No, I don't.
You don't. All right. Do you have your Super Bowl pick ready?
It's obvious. It's gonna be the refs. I've been saying it all year.
Oh, so you're going with Kansas City?
Yes, Taylor Swift's going to be there because the refs are going to be there, and so they're going to win.
And you don't think there's any chance that Philly can win?
Nope.
You think the fix is in, or do you think legitimately Kansas City's just a better team, considering they won 15 regular season games?
The fix is in, but for some strange reason, Kansas City's going to go ahead and pull another win over 30 points. I got Kansas City taking it 32 to 20, 27 or 28.
Oh, Kansas City's going to score 30 points in the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, but not any other game of the season.
Yep.
Even though Saquon has 18 touchdowns and 2,400 yards on the season, including the playoffs.
Yep. So who you got?
All right. I have the Philadelphia Eagles because I'm betting on Saquon Barkley and the fact that Kansas City can't stop the run.
Yes, they can. They got this player called a ref. He's very good at stopping things.
Well, you can make all these jokes about the ref if you want, or if you're being serious, I don't know.
I've been talking about the ref. I've been talking about the ref for the past 2 years.
I know.
And people's finally bringing it up. It doesn't look like
you really think the refs favor Kansas City?
Yes. That's
interesting. So if Kansas City loses, then would that make Philadelphia the greatest team ever to win a Super Bowl? Then
no, that'll be what Levon would think is the New York Giants.
What?
Levon thinks his New York Giants is the greatest team because they beat the Patriots, the undefeated Patriots.
No, I think my Giants are the greatest team because that's the team I cheer for. I don't know what are you talking about.
Yeah, okay.
I think the Eagles are going to win because they got a better defensive line and a better O-line. Because they got guys who used to play tackle playing guard, which makes them more athletic and makes them ginormous. And they're going to be able to block up the middle. And it's going to neutralize Chris Jones. Mekhi Becton and the other dude. Yeah. He's really good when he doesn't have to play tackle.
Yeah, when he doesn't have to play tackle, when he's not athletic as hell, and the defensive end can just run around his ass.
I mean, when you have Lane Johnson sitting next to you, it makes you a lot better.
Yeah, if I had Lane Johnson sitting next to me, I'll be a much better too.
Don't sound so sour at Mekhi Becton. That's fine as success. I mean, look at me and say,
I'm happy.
I got 20 times worse than you.
I'm actually happy for him, and I hope the Eagles do win because it would be really cool to see both former New York players, that got spurned by the teams, actually win a championship.
On the regular season and including the playoffs, the Chiefs give up the 4th most points per game. 4th least points per game. They give up 19 points per game. Eagles give up the 2nd most.
Am I going to get a chance to call it? I mean,
if defense wins championships, it's going to be Philadelphia. Go ahead, Levon.
Is it my turn to pick?
Yeah, give me your soliloquy.
Oh, my soliloquy. Well, it's a hard Super Bowl to call, man. I mean, Ant, I was singing your song like last week or for the last maybe 2 weeks since you weren't here. I was all on board with the Kansas City refs, but I think that Buffalo game was called pretty fair finally, and they beat Buffalo straight up. And I think enough attention has been called to it because the referees actually themselves, whatever organization they're a part of, came out and said that it's ridiculous to think that we would collude for one team. It's either that or you're incompetent. So pick one. I mean, you either colluding against this.
I think they're incompetent.
Yeah, so it's like pick one. So the guy comes out, I don't know who he was, but I saw it somewhere. It was a quote. I was like, somebody should have said to him, so either you're incompetent or you guys are cheating. It's one or the other. And if they're both equally as bad. But you can't blame Mahomes and the rest of those guys for that. They're going out there, they're playing. If the calls are in their favor, it is what it is. So I don't want to see them three-peat. I didn't want to see the Lakers do it. You just don't want to see one team that's not yours have that much success. And at least for me, unless your name is Malik Nicholas and you just, you love sports so much that you toss aside your affiliations. I don't know how you guys do that shit. I personally, I love my teams, and when other teams have success and my team is not doing well, I don't really want to see that happen. But
yeah,
I think the Chiefs.
I actually understand. I felt a little bit icky when I was cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it's like when the Lakers and Kobe and them they three-peated. It was like, yeah, we want to see that. Even though now it's like, you're happy for Kobe. Nobody else on that team I'm happy for. But you're happy for Kobe that he did that. He deserved it. But you didn't want to see it. It's the Lakers. It's the same thing with the Chiefs. We watched them be bad for so long, and now they're good, and now we hate them. We never thought that would be the case in the mid-'90s. I'm almost done, Ace. Bear with me. I think Philadelphia is going to win the game. I think three-peating is hard, and I don't think the Chiefs are that good, and I think Philadelphia is that good. I know Saquon is that good. That defense is legit from top to bottom, just like Ace said. They own the trenches. They got so many guys in different spots who can wreck the game. They picked this dude off the scrap heap, Zach Bond from the Saints, and he is an all-pro and almost won Defensive Player of the Year. It's their time. As much as I hate Philly, and it pains me to say, they should destroy Kansas City. But will they do it? Will we see something like that? Is the game built for us to watch a Super Bowl where Dallas destroyed Buffalo all those years ago? Can a team do that still? Or when Seattle destroyed Denver all those years ago? I don't know. But yeah, I'm picking Philly just like the host. All right, Ace, I'm done.
Or you mean like when Denver beat up Charlotte in Super Bowl 50 when they played outside in New Jersey at the Meadowlands? I'm sorry, not the Meadowlands, at MetLife, but they decided to play a cold weather Super Bowl because they wanted to be as close to New York as possible.
Yeah, when you said Denver beat Charlotte.
I'm sorry, Carolina.
Okay.
My bad. They go by Carolina. I was naming the cities. My bad. You're right. My bad. It was 2015. Yeah. It was Denver versus Carolina.
Did y'all hear what Cam Newton? We got to just. I don't know if that's.
Did I hear? No. We can talk about it right now if you want, because Malik's going to come in later with his pick because we already made our picks.
Did you hear what Cam Newton said to Stephen A? It's old news, but I don't know if we talked about it.
I genuinely haven't. Kansas City is only favored by 1.5, and the over/under is 48.5.
Cam Newton.
So by that measure, I think the safest bet we're all saying is the over, because we're both expecting a lot of points to be scored. But what did Cam Newton say to Stephen A?
Cam Newton told Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. asked him, "Would you trade your MVP trophy to have won that Super Bowl you played in?" And he said, "No,
I agree.
I'm keeping my MVP."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That is, oh shit! Wait a minute.
That is, well, Ant,
selfish.
Ant, would you do that in that situation?"
I traded my MVP for the Super Bowl championship.
Really?
I could be forever going to win the Super Bowl. People don't remember all the MVPs.
It's harder to win an MVP trophy than it is a Super Bowl.
He didn't get in.
There's guys whose names you don't know who have won Super Bowls.
Sucks. I missed it.
who played for the team that you like. I know you don't count the Jets Super Bowl championship, but there's guys in that team who you've never known, who you never know, who have won a Super Bowl.
Who got it? Jared Allen, Antonio.
You know what I mean? Like, there's guys who played for the Giants who have 2 Super Bowl rings from the 80s and one from the 90s, whatever, who the team cut them the next year. Like David Tyree, for example. He didn't even play the next season with the Giants.
Yeah, I don't think you noticed, but Levon's a little upset here. I think good old Eli didn't make it.
I didn't know. I'm upset because I missed it, but no, Eli didn't make it. They only put 4 people in.
What was that? Did you tell? What was that you said?
He didn't make it.
Eli didn't make it.
Oh, okay. So that means the rest of the NFL and Professional Football Writers Association agree with me that Eli Manning is not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
They agree with you.
You know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll take my victory lap right here, folks.
So Jared Allen, Sterling Sharp.
Okay. Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates
got in, right? Just like I said. Yeah.
Was this his first time being eligible?
Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is. Because you know why? Because that's how good of a tight end he was.
That is crazy.
He was the player who, for everybody of our age who was playing fantasy football in their early 20s. Hold on, let me finish.
That's crazy.
Who learned football better through fantasy football. He was the guy that said, I got to draft 2 tight ends now because he's that nice. I can take him and Gronk, and they can score 20 touchdowns between the 2 of them.
I'm not saying
maybe
Gates
even 25.
Wasn't nice.
He was so good. He made people believe San Diego Chargers were actually going to win a Super Bowl.
I mean, to be honest,
That's how good he was.
I don't even think Eli was. I mean, he didn't win any All-Pros. He didn't win any MVPs. I get all of that.
Yeah, and you know who does have an MVP? Cam Newton, which is why he wouldn't trade it for Eli's Super Bowl, because they still disrespect him.
I don't know. I mean, I was prepared for this, and I get it. Ace, you were right. I just think, he could have got. I mean, Strahan didn't get in first ballot. I think he should have. I just don't know what they vote based on. I would love to know what the vote is.
It's the All-Pro and the individual excellence.
That should not be with the Hall of Fame. It's
the NFL Hall of Fame is about individual excellence. It's not stats. Did you dominate the people you played against during your time playing?
And Antonio Gates dominated?
He dominated. He dominated in the regular season, and he played well in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
it's like, why would you let him? Let me ask you one question.
Ask me a question.
Is Barry Sanders the first ballot Hall of Famer?
Of course.
What did he do in the playoffs?
He didn't get a chance to go.
Every time he played in the playoffs, both of them, he played terribly. So I'll let you go.
His teams were terrible, but my thing is,
he was on them.
The Hall of Fame. It's not Hall of Stats. I get if it was the Hall of Stats, but it's the Hall of Fame. When I think about players who, during their time in the league, made an impact, memories, things you remember. We remember Barry for what he did. That doesn't mean that Emmitt Smith shouldn't have got in first ballot. He did. Barry got in first ballot. He did. Because they were famous. You knew who they were. They played well. They had significant moments that bookmarked the game of football. That was my only thing. That was it. If it was just Hall of Stats, I mean, it's a lot of players that probably should get into the Hall of Fame if it's a Hall of Stats, but it's the
Name me a great, you know how you can hold it up as the Hall. It's not the Hall of Stats. If it was the Hall of Stats, Torrey Holt would be in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Steve Smith Sr. would be. Smith would be in. I'm not calling him Steve Smith Sr. His son didn't play football. Steve Smith would be in. Terrell Suggs would be in if it was the Hall of Stats.
The senior doesn't have to do anything with his son playing football. It just means that
I don't need to know that you had a son, okay? You were in the league for years, and no, his name isn't Steve. It's Senior. Let me explain something to you. When you have a kid and you name your kid Junior, you don't become Senior unless you go down and change your name at the courthouse. Yeah, you are the original. They don't call it Die Hard Senior. It's just Die Hard.
You're so fucking stupid.
You don't do that with anything else.
Yeah,
nothing else in life. Do
this has been like brutal. I don't know, man. I just think Eli was famous enough. I mean, I know he didn't have all the stats.
Mike Lupica agreed with you.
He didn't have all the stats. I know that. I'd be foolish to say, yeah, he won MVP, no All Pros, only 4 Pro Bowls. I get it.
Anthony, you said you would trade your NFL MVP for a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why you shouldn't do that? Because that makes you the same as Brad Johnson.
That's crazy.
I know this sounds disrespectful, but as good as hold on. Cam Newton has an NFL MVP. There's a lot of quarterbacks who don't, but he does.
But that's not why you play.
Hold on, that NFL. It's not why you play. But if I get an NFL MVP and I don't get a Super Bowl, the solace of having that NFL MVP means more than the Super Bowl.
I doubt no, because it's a lot of players that won MVP that you kind of be like, push out to them.
There's been less players to win the NFL MVP than have won the Super Bowl.
It's a lot easier to forget who won MVP.
Only one guy can win the MVP.
Super Bowl.
Only one guy can win the MVP.
That's bull.
52 guys get to win the Super Bowl.
That's crazy. That is
every
nuts.
year.
Bro, that is
52 guys get to win the Super Bowl.
That's nuts, bro. I'm sorry.
But the thing is that it's two different versions of winning that Super Bowl. Is the Super Bowl? It's the same thing for every single sport. That's nuts. Is the guy who got carried? You know, the guy who's on the 12th man on the bench who got a ring, and is the guy that you know who got the ring. The Jordans, the Elways, the Mannings, everything like that. Those are the people that you know who actually won the actual championship, and the guy who's on the bench or whatever. That's a difference. That's the difference on that.
Cliff Livingston has two rings from 91 and 92. It says the same thing as Michael Jordan's 91 and 92 rings. I'm just saying.
Every time somebody who doesn't win a ring, they always look back at them like, can he win the big one? They said the same thing about Charles Barkley back in the NBA. They said the same thing about Manning back before he started winning his championships. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Peyton Manning. They say the same thing about Rodgers as well. They say the same thing about Rodgers even right now. He only has one championship. And they're like, he got all those MVPs, but he only has one championship.
If you were to ask Aaron Rodgers if he would trade in one of his old MVPs to have taken the Jets to the Super Bowl, I promise you he would have kept all the MVP.
Aaron Rodgers is...
You underestimate the ego that these professional athletes have.
No, I mean...
You're underestimating that. You genuinely are.
For being truthful, but I'm just saying... That's not why you play. If you get into the game to win MVPs, you're playing for the wrong reason, and you'll probably never win anything. Cam just happened to be good enough, and he's easy to forget. Somebody will forget. Our children's children will forget who Cam Newton was. But Eli Manning for the Giants, Joe Montana for the Niners. I know who Terry Bradshaw is. I don't know who won MVP back in the year they won the Super Bowl. Do you? Don't look it up.
I do. Yeah.
Don't look it up.
The 1978 MVP?
Who was it?
It was Terry Bradshaw.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, then he's like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's like Tom Brady.
Exactly. Which is why I think it's funny that they gloss over him and go to Tom Brady.
Well, that's an exception to the rule. But my point is most people, not you.
But I wasn't alive then. I wasn't alive then.
Remember Bradshaw, the Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Steelers versus who won the MVP in that season. That is very forgettable.
My son's not going to remember that the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl in 1996.
Huh?
My son's not going to remember that the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl in 1996.
He'll remember if he's a sports fan.
He won't. It's going to be ancient history to him. It's going to be like me. It's going to be like us. It would be like us talking about who won the Super Bowl in 1976, which I don't even know. I don't even know who won the Super Bowl in 76. It means nothing to us.
When you look up history, all you care about is looking up whoever won the Super Bowl. You don't look back who won the MVP.
No one remembers that shit. They really don't.
Nobody cares. If that was true, we would count NFL championships the same we do NFL. Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
Me and you and Malik sat here weeks ago, and we tried to remember every Super Bowl game and winning team.
Yeah, we had to we didn't talk about the 1976 NFL Super Bowl champions. You know why? One, we weren't alive, and two, we didn't give a shit.
But that's my point. We still know, though. We know about the steel curtain.
Well, we don't know who, but they didn't win in 76.
But you know about them.
I know they existed.
You know who was on the team.
But the game has changed.
Do you know who Terry Bradshaw is?
I know Terry Bradshaw is because he's been on television for the past 35 years.
You know who he plays for?
If he wasn't on TV, I would not know who he looked like.
Who'd he play for?
He played for the Steelers.
There you go.
You know why I know that? Because he's been on television for the past 30 years.
That's why.
Okay.
He won the Super Bowl.
I also know who Boomer Esiason is.
Yeah,
because he's been on television for the past 25 years. He's been on
New York, so you know.
He's been on TV for the past 25 years. That also helps.
People don't remember MVPs. Okay. The layman who doesn't watch football like we do, they watch the Super Bowl. It's the most watched sporting event in the fucking country in the world. Are you trying to compare that to an MVP trophy?
Listen, man, I'm telling you, it means more to them individually to win the MVP.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not disputing that. I'm talking to Aaron Liebert.
I'm
talking to you.
Andrew Hawkins, who played in the NFL for 7 years, said something. He said, You see a lot of people selling their old Super Bowl rings. You don't see
here we
anybody.
go. You
Hold
going
on.
off. You
Hold on.
just
Let me
using
finish.
something crazy.
Let me
That's
finish.
That's not
You've never
biased.
seen anybody sell an old MVP trophy.
Because nobody's gonna buy
Nobody
it.
wants to buy that shit.
Oh, really? So nobody
Why
wants
would
to own
you
an
want
MVP
another-
trophy.
Why would
Somebody,
you want a singular trophy with some dude's name
somebody
on it?
bought.
Ace,
Somebody bought
Super Bowl
OJ's
champion.
Heisman.
Ace, have you ever
Somebody
seen?
bought OJ's Heisman.
Ace, forget about his Heisman. Have you ever seen the actual Super Bowl ring? They got diamonds and all that other stuff.
Yes, I have.
It's worth more than anything.
Those things are valuable, man.
You know, I
They're
know.
memories.
No.
Teams winning championships.
To your point, Ant. Hakeem Nicks. We met him at the draft the next year.
Hey,
me and Ray.
You wilding.
He had a Super Bowl ring on.
You are wilding.
I've seen one.
Ace. When did they announce the NFL MVP? Are you even watching this goddamn show?
I don't care.
But you will watch the Super Bowl, won't you?
Maybe.
Here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example for basketball. In basketball,
you're not even watching this show. You just got finished crapping on it.
Let me use basketball in its terms.
He's wild.
When they had the picture of the greatest person, the greatest player of all time, taking a picture. When he took a picture of all his MVP trophies, all his rings, and I'm talking about Jordan. Jordan had all his rings. That's all people cared about, all his championship rings.
Yeah, man, that's the thing, man. That's it. Now, Michael Jordan is a terrible example because he's got MVPs and rings.
But the thing is that I'm just using that as an example. They ain't showing what they
No, I get what you're saying. I do. Cam Newton is a wild boy. He's wild.
He's telling the truth. And I'm telling you, more players feel like that than you think.
I don't disagree
if that
with
wasn't
you,
true, if that wasn't true, you would see some broke NFL player would be selling his NFL MVP trophy who fell on hard times.
I'm just saying that. Is there any wonder that he did not win a Super Bowl or that his team was never really that good except for like 1 or 2 times?
Ace, the reason why is the truth for Cam Newton because he never won a Super Bowl. That's the reason why it's the truth for him. He already has it, the MVP.
I didn't even hear his reason for it. I mean, I couldn't listen after he said that.
He already has the MVP.
It's a team sport, man.
Let's ask another NFL player. Let's ask Adrian Peterson that same question and see what he's.
I was just thinking about.
And if he answers it the same way, does that mean I'm right, or does that mean they're both selfish?
Adrian Peterson had a great career.
If Adrian Peterson said the same thing, would that make him right?
Adrian Peterson had a great career.
Yeah, but he never got to the Super Bowl.
He
never even got there.
He never did. But I bet you more people remember Terrell Davis, TD, than they will AP. I bet you.
If you went to your daughter's school, if you go to your daughter's school tomorrow and said, "Do you know who Terrell Davis is, or do you know who Adrian Peterson is?" They'd be like, "Terrell Davis, the basketball player, or Terrell Davis?"
Yeah,
like
they
maybe.
Wouldn't know. They probably wouldn't know.
But they know who Adrian Peterson is. I'm telling you, people's memories are very short.
Football player is way more.
He's not even in. Oh my god. Okay.
I like AP. I do. He won an MVP. He ran crazy. He was great. But I mean, it's nothing like winning the Super Bowl cements your legacy if you're a good player. Now, if you're like the last man on the roster,
let me put it like this, Levon. To your point, you say it cements your legacy. If Super Bowls mattered so much, it would count for all the players that were all pros, right?
Now, all pro is different.
It would matter for all the players that are all pros. It wouldn't matter for just some, which means that all the guys that won with the Giants that were all pro defensive linemen, you'd be talking about them the way you talk about Eli, but you don't.
What are you talking about?
OC, all pro defensive lineman twice, 2 Super Bowls. You don't mention him.
I mentioned OC a ton. We don't.
No, you actually don't, though. You don't. You always talk about Eli.
We don't have a chance to do that. You see how you just gave him his flowers? You never give Eli's flowers. That's
because I give the defense their flowers because the defense won that championship.
You never give. That's what I'm saying.
The defense won that championship.
You just said exactly what I said. You don't take craps on the Giant defensive players. You like Strahan
because they were good.
Credit. You give Tuck his credit. You always
because they were all pros.
So
that's why
we talk about Eli Manning more. Of course we do.
Because everybody acts like QBs are like wins are a quarterback stat, and they're not.
I agree with you. Wins are not a quarterback stat.
So why do you get so much credit for winning the Super Bowl?
I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. Eli Manning
Listen, what Cam Newton did with Carolina in 2015 was amazing. If you go look at the numbers and what he put, he got that terrible team to the Super Bowl.
Oh my God!
He got that terrible team to the Super Bowl.
Cam Newton's.
You can't name one other person who was on that team in 2015.
Was Steve Smith on that team?
No, he was gone by then.
If you give me a moment, if they won the Super Bowl, I might be able to remember. But if you give me a moment, I could name some people who were on that team. Oh man, Chris Mortensen, for real. Yeah. For real.
It warms my heart to know that Eric Allen and Antonio Gates are getting in, and I told you that's who was going to get in. So that will be that will be my shout out. Philadelphia Eagle, Eric Allen.
These are people who I know Eric Allen and Sterling Sharp have been waiting for a while. I don't know if Jared Allen got passed up, but I'm pretty sure he did a couple of times.
And Anthony, to your point, Charles Barkley would rather have won that MVP. He probably would have won a title, but that MVP means a lot. That meant he was the best player.
That's bullshit.
It means he was the best player.
You ask Charles Barkley right now, he
that is crazy.
Ring.
So you know what? If I ever get a chance to run to Chuck, I'm gonna ask him.
I do not understand how they just don't want people to be first back. That is something that I think is absolutely just privileged and ridiculous. They left out Eli Manning and Luke Kuechly for Antonio Gates, Jared Allen, and Eric Allen. Eric Allen at no point in his career was the best cornerback. Not one time. That is fucking madness. Eric Allen was good, but it's no fucking way. That is crazy.
Sometimes some of these reporters should not be getting.
That is crazy. I like Antonio Gates. He was a good player, but he wasn't famous like that. He just wasn't. He didn't stand out at his position. Not to me. He was a stat grabber, but there was a lot of players who.
He was a stat grabber?
Yeah.
He was a stat grabber.
Just like Phillip Rivers.
He played in the MAC. He came out of nowhere, became a first-round pick. He was a third-round pick. He was like a 2-star recruit, and now he's in the Hall of Fame.
That's great, and I'm happy for him. I'm just comparing
him ridiculous.
To Luke Kuechly, who was arguably
he had a shortened career,
best middle linebacker in the league stat-wise
for 1 year.
For 1 year, he was on that Panthers team. He was on that Panthers.
You finally remembered. That's how much of an impact it made on you.
Well, they got destroyed. I mean, my Giants weren't in the Super Bowl. I don't think I watched it too closely. I don't think I did.
Do you know how many yards Antonio Gates caught? Do you know how many yards Antonio Gates caught?
Antonio Gates was good, bro. He was good.
Do you know how many yards he caught?
I don't know. It's a lot of players.
11,000.
Was he better than Jason Witten?
Yes.
That's crazy.
He had 11,000 yards in 236 games.
Well, pull up Witten's stats.
Let's go to Mr. Compiler.
Oh, so now Witten's a compiler.
Jason Witten. Hold on. Jason Witten played 271 games.
That's good. I mean, longevity in football. That should count for something.
That's more games than what I just said. Guess how many yards he had?
How many?
13,000.
Okay. How many touchdowns did he have?
He retired, came back. He had 74 touchdowns.
How many did Gates have? Gates probably had more.
116.
Yeah.
In 45 less games. 45.
Gates
in
good.
In 3 less seasons, he had 116 touchdowns.
I'm not saying Gates
and 11,000 yards. And you're telling me this guy's in the first ballot Hall of Famer.
I just don't think of him.
Sure.
I don't think of him. When I think of football. I do not think of Antonio Gates.
Sure.
I think Rob Gronkowski. I think Travis Kelce. These are famous.
He was a 3-time All-Pro and an 8-time Pro Bowler.
Tight ends. If I had to say,
Antonio Gates was that dude.
I just don't say Eric Allen. Eric Allen probably was waiting for a while. That is the only.
Eric Allen retired in 2001. He played in 3 different decades.
Yeah, that should count for something.
He had 54 interceptions.
I'm not saying Eric Allen wasn't good, but he must have been waiting for a while. All of them are great players. They all deserve to get in.
Except Eli Manning.
The whole first ballot.
Wow, that's cool.
The whole first ballot thing is just it's kind of like they did Strahan. It's like he's not worthy of first. Like that's some accolade in itself.
You know who the last giant to get in on the first ballot was?
I really don't.
Lawrence Taylor.
That's crazy, bro.
That's how good you have to be. That's what first ballot means. You got to be that good to get in on the first try.
And I think that's crazy. I think it should be a year-by-year basis. There's no way.
Wait, Eli made 4 Pro Bowls.
It is
Antonio Gates made 8.
When you look at the list of eligibles for this year, they could have put 5 people in. They chose to put in 4. And I think those other people were like, what's the asterisk? What does the asterisk mean?
That means they were veterans, the veteran committee.
You got a veteran committee.
Which means when you're no longer eligible, they can still put you up. It's the same thing in baseball.
Exactly. So these dudes were in the veterans committee.
It's the same way I'm going to get into the NBA Hall of Fame.
Put them in there. And we just not going to put that shit just doesn't make, and they do it in baseball too.
It makes perfect sense.
It's kind of like in baseball, whoever didn't vote for Ichiro so he could be unanimous. It's like, who the fuck is this guy? Whoever didn't vote for
you
Jeter
seem
so he
so
could be
angry.
unanimous. Like, what is this dick who doesn't want people to be unanimous? Who would have been, you're not a first ballot. What is this pencil neck dick doing? I want to know who that guy is, man.
I'm leaving this rant in.
See this man up here?
You know who leads the NFL in receptions?
Huh?
You know who leads the NFL in receptions by a tight end?
Who's that?
Give me a guess. Since you know football, since you remember
leads the league in receptions by a tight end.
Career receptions by a tight end. Career.
Is it somebody I would know?
It's somebody you watched play football quite a bit. Your entire career, you were watching football.
Shannon Sharp?
No.
Not Shannon Sharp?
Not Shannon Sharp.
Who did he play for?
He played for 2 different teams. He went to Cal. I'll give you a hint.
Oh, Tony Gonzalez.
That's correct.
Tony Gonzalez. I mean,
you know how many games he played?
How many?
270.
Okay.
You know who's 4th on that list?
Who's 4th?
Antonio Gates.
I didn't say Gates wasn't good. Did not say
I'm going to keep doing this until we sign off.
There's no way.
You saw that, right? Yes. You know who's 2nd?
It's not famous.
Jason Witten. He played 1 more game than Tony Gonzalez. Has 100 less catches.
Tony Gonzalez
1,228.
He has that stat, so that's, when you lead your position.
Shannon Sharp has 808 catches, and he played 188 games.
It's no way. It's just, I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. I mean, you can get
winning
all the stats you want.
Winning a Super Bowl doesn't mean as much. You remember who Brent Jones is? Brent Jones isn't in the top 10 of that list.
Can I speak without you?
That's what I'm saying.
Because this is what I'm talking about. We're talking about defining moments in football. TD got into the Hall of Fame. Why? Because he had defining moments in football. He was famous. The whole salute. Ran for 2,000 yards. He had a short career. His total stats did not equal up to what Hall of Fame career is, but he got in. My thing about Eli Manning, I admit the stats are not overwhelming. He's not in the top 5 in anything. I said all of this before, but you know who he is from what he did on the field, the games he played in, all of that stuff, the Iron Man stuff. Those accolades alone should have been enough. In this, if he was in the category, if Ben was up, if Tom Brady was up, I'd have been like, yeah, he's not getting in. That would have made sense to me. But he was up there with Gates, with Kuechly, Eric Allen, and I was like, yeah, they let in 5. He's got to be the top 5 out of this group, and they only let in 4? That is crazy. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I gave you all of that, said you was right, you won the bet, all of that, conceded all of that. But I just think that in this class, he should have got in. Out of those the final 15, he was more Hall of Fame worthy than those people who got into me. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Yeah. But I think he'll get in. I mean, he'll definitely get in. That's a foregone conclusion. If fucking Eric Allen,
he'll get in eventually. You need to stop trying to play the rest of the people that did get in to hype up your boy.
No, come on. If Eric Allen and Jared Allen eventually get in, Eli's getting in probably. Well, it's going to be hard for him to get in next year because Drew Brees is up next year. So is Phillip Rivers. Then it's like, oh shit. Well, Drew Brees has to get in. I mean, I'd be a real hater if I said Eli gets in over Drew Brees. Brees has got to get in over Eli.
The only player that's going to get in first ballot next year is probably Brees. I think they make Phillip Rivers wait. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Phillip Rivers waiting. Brees won a Super Bowl. He's got all those stats. He was excellent his entire career. So is that first ballot worthy? I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I have no idea. He doesn't have the most passing yards. He had it for a second. He held it for a second. He only won that one Super Bowl. Did he win any MVPs?
I believe he did, yeah.
Did he win MVPs?
Sure, because I remember before we talked about MVP.
I don't think Drew Brees won the MVP. Well, he was all pro.
We was kind of fuzzy on the MVP talk, you know.
I think he was all pro a couple of times. I'm not sure.
Drew, I know Drew Brees won, Super Bowl.
He finished second 4 times. I guess he wasn't good enough to win an MVP.
So no MVPs, but he's definitely got some all pros. I know that. He's got to have some of those. Okay. But, shit, then it's no guarantee.
You know who does have an MVP?
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Cam Newton.
Cam is never getting in the Hall of Fame. I stand on that.
There isn't one NFL player who has won an MVP who has not made the Hall of Fame.
Is that true?
His name is going to be Cam Newton.
Is that true? That can't be true, bro. That cannot be true.
Wait. That's a good question then.
That can't be true. I will not. And
what does Cam Newton do to
throwing out facts that no one wants to check because Malik isn't here? And them shits just be off. There's no way.
A lot of times they should be BSing with his facts. So you got to fact check them like
Cam
crazy.
Newton.
Fact check like a congressman.
He had that slick ass comment to say if they give Eli a jacket, they better give me 2. If he says anything tomorrow,
I'm here for it.
If Cam Newton is the absolute, when you say shit like that, I keep my MVP trophy over a Super Bowl. That is disrespectful to the city you played for, the team, your teammates, the fans. That shit is self-serving. That's only for you. And you telling me you value that more than actually bringing a champion. Carolina's never won a fucking thing. I mean, that dude right there, boy, is wild. He's wild. Oh, man.
Only 2 players in NFL history who have won an MVP have not made it to the Hall of Fame. I stand corrected.
All right. Thank you.
Can you tell me who they are?
Nah, it's no way. Because I forget MVPs. So it's no way.
You forget MVPs.
Yeah, I forget.
So what you're telling me is you can name every quarterback ever who's won a Super Bowl.
I'll come closer to doing that than telling you how many MVPs have ever won.
I'll tell you this.
The league has been
pretty confident you could tell me every MVP from the year 2000 till now.
Nah.
Then telling me every quarterback who won a Super Bowl from year 2000 till now.
I bet you from 2000 it'll probably
from 2000
because it'll be a bunch of quarterbacks because it'll be
a lot of guys that are repeating.
That's another reason because the MVP.
Only 2 players in NFL history who have won an MVP have not made it to the Hall of Fame.
This is even more so. The MVP trophy is such garbage.
Is it?
It is gifted. It is gifted to the quarterback position, no matter what any other player does and how good they are. They just give it to quarterbacks.
So Saquon Barkley wins the NFL MVP.
He's not.
Will you say that?
He should.
He's not because he just won offensive player. That is going to Lamar Jackson.
He should win both, actually.
I think
he should win both.
But he is going to Lamar Jackson.
He played 2,000 yards in only 16 games.
But you know what?
I think he's going to go to
tonight. I've already been wrong once tonight. If it goes to Saquon, I might have to get off this. I might have to get off this train.
It's going to go to that Bills quarterback. It's going to go to that
Josh Allen? Why won't you just say his name?
And tell her to
check
Bills
quarterback.
I probably have a heart
Josh Allen.
It's going to go to that Bills quarterback.
I think they said that MVP had for the last few years has always been quarterback who's won.
The last time it wasn't was Adrian Peterson. So yeah. But if Saquon wins it should turn the tide. Honestly, they should still give it to him because he means more to that team than Josh means to
that's
Bills.
obvious. Saquon is an MVP. I think everybody knows that, but the league is so trapped. I wish they proved me wrong and give it to 2-6. But I mean, they just give it to the quarterback because they hoist the quarterback up.
I want him to dedicate it to all the Giants fans who believed in him.
I mean, I don't think he's that petty.
It has because he has nothing against the fans. He wanted to stay with the team, but it just came down to money, honestly.
Yeah, I finally listened to him talk. I mean, they offered him a contract. He just said he didn't want it.
The Eagles paid them more.
Exactly.
So you go to where the more money is.
Yeah, you can't fault either side for that. I mean,
all right.
The Giants offered him a contract.
So, Levon, you got the Eagles. I got the Eagles, and you got the Kansas City Chiefs, aka the Kansas City Refs, as you like to call them.
Yes, the refs.
Okay.
So
NBA conspiracy theory. The Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic so they can get their casino in Dallas legalized because
I heard about
if the team gets bad enough, they can threaten to move the team to Vegas. Do you think that is legitimate?
That might be legit because the owners are actually casino owners, and they were trying to get
Did
get
LaShawn McCoy
in
say
there.
something about the goddamn Giants? I missed
What?
that. He said something about the Giants. The Giants came out his fucking mouth, but I didn't hear the
You're
context.
saying it like you're going to fight this man. Can
I'm
you
just
focus on the
tired. I'm
question?
tired of-
Can you focus on the question?
I mean, we at home with 30 other teams. I'm tired of everybody.
If Super Bowl
mentioning
rings
the
meant so
damn
much,
Giants.
you should be happy. The Giants have 5. The Eagles have 1.
5
Continue.
what?
Clearly, championships don't matter that much.
The Giants have 5 what?
Super Bowl championships. The Eagles
they
have
don't.
1 Super Bowl
Giants have
championship.
4.
Oh, they have 5.
No, they do not.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'd bet a whole lot on that. I wish we had 5. We have 4 Super Bowl championships.
Oh, that's right.
But
You
thank
lost
you
that
for
one.
giving.
I do
thank
remember
you for
that one
giving
you
us the
lost to
faith.
the Ravens. My bad.
Yeah, so do I.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
But it was Kerry Collins, so what'd you expect?
Wow.
It was a historic defense. What are you going to do?
Who was the quarterback for the other team? Do you remember?
Dofa.
Okay, just checking. You know who won the MVP?
He was in the Super Bowl.
You know who won the
remember.
MVP that year?
I'm gonna give it a real shot, but
Here
no.
it
In 2000,
You don't remember who won the MVP in 2000?
Tom Brady?
You're gonna play this game again? Okay.
No, I don't know. In 2000,
All right.
I'm trying to think what the best teams were. It wasn't New England. 2000, New England was pretty good, right? Oh shit! Wow, they gave it to Josh, a quarterback.
I told you. I told you he's gonna go to that Bills quarterback.
So I guess they didn't want to give it to Lamar Jackson for.
I guess it was in the script, as everybody
years
likes
in a
to say,
row.
Josh. As everybody likes to say that they write. But we are coming up on an hour, folks, and
wow.
I think I'm gonna call it. I don't think Malik's gonna make it, but I will add his pick onto the postscript, the addendum, if he makes it. Levon,
Yeah.
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Hey,
Ant.
Before you log off, I just decided to play around with it to see while we was talking. Since I'm really gonna make my official first mock draft next week, but so far I got Cam Wood going to Tennessee, Travis Hunter going to yeah, that's what almost everybody got there.
All right, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
Browns got Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders go to the Giants, Will Campbell go to the Patriots, Will Johnson goes to the Jaguars. I can't pronounce this receiver's name. McMillan.
Yes,
Teteroa.
The first name was tough, but yeah, McMillan.
Yeah, got him go to the Raiders. Mason Graham going to the Jets. Abdul Carter going to the Panthers. Ty Warren going to the Saints. And I still don't know who I'm going to have the Bears take yet because I was still in the middle of picking that. But then you talk about calling it off for the time. Unfortunately, I don't have the Bears pick.
That's all right. Top 9 is good. I like that. It's unique. Everybody does top 5 and top 10s, but nobody does the top 9.
You got Abdul Carter. What did you say? Travis Hunter yet?
You had Travis Hunter going second.
Second.
You got Abdul Carter going all the way down at 9.
Yeah.
He
is the best pass rusher, but there's much more defensive linemen than there are offensive linemen.
Other than Travis Hunter, he is the highest rated prospect in the whole entire draft.
But he did go to Penn State, and there hasn't been a great track record of defenders from Penn State.
Micah Parsons, where are you getting the shit from?
Aaron Maben.
Did you just say that like out
Curtis
loud?
Enos.
Micah Parsons is recent, and Abdul Carter is like his clone.
I'm just naming people.
The reason so far, this is just like this, but just a mock up. There's plenty more to go, and depends on also how things go as far as the rest of the off season is concerned. But this is mostly concerning what these teams actually need and stuff like that. Like the Patriots, I would definitely had Abdul Carter go to them, but the thing is that they need the offensive lineman right now.
That's true.
So
you don't think the Browns with Myles Garrett definitely going to get traded would take his replacement at number 1?
Yeah, my daddy said the Browns are going to trade Myles Garrett.
They are trading Myles Garrett. He asked to get traded, bro.
Right. That's what I was.
Either they trade him or
Myles Garrett is going to be a Charger.
Yeah, whatever he's going to be. But they're trading him. He's not going to be there next year.
I was thinking about that as well, but the thing is that trade hasn't been made yet, so I can't count this type of things into fantasy trades.
I hear that. That's not a fantasy though. That's pretty much a guarantee.
Yeah.
And my mama told me Eli Manning is overrated.
Your mama said
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna take this L. It's not much I can say. I think it sucks, but he'll
He's a
get
Pats fan, so she might be hating.
he'll get in there. That sucks though.
Yeah, it does suck. But
It does suck. I just don't know the vote. It's just weird. I mean, Eric Allen deserving. They could have picked 5. They only picked 4.
I think you should write a sternly worded letter to the Pro Football Writers
I can't wait to
Association
see
in
what other
Canton.
people say about it. You could have picked 5. You only picked 4.
I can tell you this. If you really want to know, you can tune into WFAN. They're going to get a 20 share complaining about how Eli Manning got screwed for the whole 3 hours. They're going to open up the call lines.
I don't like to listen to that shit.
You can call in from Georgia and say, this is a travesty.
I don't listen to very many of that opinionated stuff because opinions,
Really?
like Dustin said,
You sound like Mike the Mad Dog here.
assholes. Everybody has one, and most of them stink. That is very true. I only listen to a
You were on
people.
one today. All that happened was your boy nominated the Hall of Fame, and now you're losing it.
I mean, no, I don't really listen to a lot of that, like calling stuff, because most fans, it's hard to listen to some of those takes, bro. It's hard, but I read certain like columnists and certain.
I really need you to listen to the last 3 shows you did with us. I really need you to do that. I want you to download the podcast. So am I. I want you to download this podcast. I want you to listen to yourself back. And we're going to go to you with shout outs.
First, I'd like to give a shout out to Marshall Faulk because his name wasn't mentioned. He was the MVP for 2000. Just wanted to give a shout out to him.
Thank you.
I didn't
Super Bowl champ and MVP.
I didn't know.
So I'd like to give a shout out to him. I'd like to give a shout out to Patrick Mahomes because he's going to win the Super Bowl. And, he's going to prove Aces wrong. I also like to give a shout out to who else I want to give a shout out today? I actually don't know. I forgot my list at home. Oh well. That's gonna be my shout outs for the week. I forgot the rest of my shout outs. I had a couple of them. And unfortunately, I do want to say one more thing. It's unfortunately, I just want to say rest in peace to Irv Gotti. He died. He died. What was it? I think yesterday or the day before.
Yes.
Of our recording, today is Thursday, February 6th. He died yesterday. Fortunately, a diabetic. I believe he died of a heart attack. Fortunately for him. But anyway, get a shout out to my Jets as well. Might as well do that. I'm back in the mood. I'm back in the mood of that again. So we got Rick Spielman. Yeah, he's gonna be like a director of football operations.
That's tremendous. I think it'll genuinely help you guys getting some new eyes and some new people in there to give some information takes and pick some players for you guys. Help develop some culture.
Definitely. Shout out to Aaron Glenn for getting that job. I wasn't around to actually mention that. All right, Levon. I guess it's your turn because Ace is in the zone.
No, I'm gonna go next. Happy Black History Month. First and foremost to everybody. Happy Black History Month. Shout out to my Knicks for not trading away Mitchell Robinson for a bag of potatoes like Charlotte Hornets did with Mark Williams. Hope that makes the Lakers better. Second, shout out to Dallas for realizing I don't think anybody, we can't really give anybody $350 million to play. And I don't think somebody's going to get that. I don't think it should be Luka Doncic. This is a guy who doesn't take care of his body. He smokes cigarettes and he drinks while leaving the court actively. At least wait till you get to the locker room, brother. Like, I'm just saying, you got to keep up appearances. You want to secure that bag. Shout out to Jimmy Butler for securing the bag, getting $111 million from the Golden State Warriors. You're going to be playing until you're 37, and you're going to play 2 more seasons. You're going to make $40 million this year and another 111. So shout out to you and Big Face Coffee. It's pretty good. It's expensive, but it's really good. And shout out to Eric Allen, and shout out to Mr. Maction himself, my favorite tight end of all time, Antonio Gates. He is a legend, and he's going into the Hall of Fame. First ballot as he deserves. 116 touchdowns. That's more touchdowns than Walter Payton had in his career. Just saying. Go ahead, Levon.
Wow. I think that was the other cut to Levon and his Eli Manning.
Well, no. I got to give a shout out. I mean, my wife said it best earlier. She said he's rich. So he's on commercials. He's making tons of money, living his best life. I'm pretty sure this was gravy on top of everything. He'll eventually get in. For fans like me who are not him, it would have been great justification for him to get in first ballot because there is no more debated quarterback in the National Football League's history than Eli Manning.
Or Ken Anderson.
See, case in point, I can't even give a shout out without
or Joe Theismann.
Without somebody jumping in there. He's comparing Eli Manning to Joe Theismann. So shout out to 10 for all the memories. You're in my Hall of Fame. Forget the NFL. It's the entertainment league anyway. I want to give a shout out to the Knicks because it's basketball season. And because the Knicks are good, makes all of what's going on in basketball that much more interesting. I agree with Ace. There's a lot more to what happened with Luka in Dallas than they are telling us. But I think if you want to justify what they did in the trade, you have no further to look than what happened in the NBA Finals last year and how Boston targeted him and his defense was lazy and he was arguing with the refs and that's all he does. And it's going to be real interesting to see when the Lakers hand this thing over to him if he is what they think he is. And I don't know if he is. He doesn't play defense. He's an electric scorer, but he's a liability on that end. And teams don't just give up on 25-year-olds who average close to 30 points a game, and you can lock that kind of player up for the rest of his career. You just don't trade that player. Maybe he goes away in free agency. Maybe he demands a trade, but you do not in the middle of the night ship him off for pretty much a bag of rocks. I mean,
a bag of Skittles.
Are you calling Anthony Davis a bag of rocks?
Compared to a 20,
I just want to make sure you're calling Anthony Davis a bag of rocks.
Listen.
Well, he does
two-time Olympian.
This is my shout out, but okay. I mean, it's all welcome. We have never seen a player of that magnitude at that point in his career, not even in his prime yet. 5-time All-NBA player, first team, get traded for one player 6 years older than him. A bunch of other whoever's, not even a bunch. Who else was in that deal? I don't even remember. Kleber and Christie, and one draft pick. Something's up with that, bro. You just don't do those type of things. So that to me is crazy in itself. And I think Davis is excellent, but he's 31 and he's injury prone. And those are facts. He's not playing right now. They got him in the trade and he's not even playing because he's injured. Anyway, that's my shout out.
That's it. And we out. Shout out to all the people in Dallas who are unconsolable.
Lakers are a very lucky team.
No, I mean, really think about that. Are they really lucky? Luka is a whiner. He's not in the best shape at 25. He's getting hurt. And they gave up on him, man. We don't know what was going on behind the scenes with the coaches and the team that drafted him and knew him better than anybody. You do not just give up on 25 years of age superstars, 5-time All-NBA